Let's get started with weekly outlook today. Don't see too much people online, but that's okay. Hopefully, they will join us as I go. And I'm gonna go over, the usual weekly watch list. What I have, I'll go over currency, commodity, crypto, and equity. And as always, feel free to ask me any questions or any pair or anything you're looking at. Feel free to let me know, and I can go over them as I go. All right. So let's get started. It's 10 o'clock GMT, right? 10 o'clock at night GMT. So let's get started. First of all, let's look at dollar index, right? This is how I always start my currency pair or currency outlook, just with the dollar index. And if you guys been following me, I've been talking about a potential shift in terms of how I see the dollar. And when the price was in this overall area, I was looking at it more bullish, right? We had this bullish breakout kind of thing, and then price did not continue after we break this high. Instead, we started having this drop, and then there's some mini correction here, and then we see continuation downwards, and you can kind of see the separation of pattern and structures that originally we had this kind of a descending structure, which is a reversal in the normal case, but instead we're forming this ascending channel to pretty much balance what's going on, and we're seeing this bearish kind of impulse. So to me is whether if it's going to be more continuation correctional structure to be developing here, and we could potentially see the dollar decline more. Okay, this is kind of my view on the dollar currently, and this is a higher time frame. If we're just looking at the higher time frame solely, then we're seeing a very clear price action movement, right? We have this impulse correction, impulse, correction, impulse, and we're just having a deeper kind of a ascending kind of a channel correction, and for the next push down at least to the lows, and still be pretty good risk reward in this area. Same thing with a few dollar pair that I'll go over, but this is kind of what I see in terms of the dollar right now. So I'll go over a few dollar, I'll go over a few yen pairs as well, and then we can kind of do a little bit of a comparison, kind of see what I'm seeing and does it make sense to you guys, and we'll go from there. All right. Hi there. So let's get started. I'll talk about Aussie dollar for a second because if you guys recall that I was looking at the structure like this on the higher time frame. Okay, this was for last week, and I mentioned about if we zoom to the left, we're usually going to see similar kind of a structure happening, and then for the down move. While I had this bias, last week or pretty much all the previous weeks, but I have to adjust to what the market is telling me. Right, it's not about sticking to one thing and then you're married to your analysis and you're not adapting to the market condition. Okay, so how I'm seeing this now is that instead of this very strong breakout, right? We had this, but remember there was a sell possibility here, right? And I was saying what the price will do when we hit this area, because this is a crucial area to determine if the price is going to continue, if it's going to form some sort of continuation correction to push the price down more, or are we still going to get reversal? And if you think about it, we get exactly right? We broke the lows, and instead of continuation to push the price lower, we then get this clear kind of a reversal correction. We push the price up, and we clearly form this kind of expanding kind of structure, and we push out the price once again. So I can't help but notice, and this is what I'm seeing in terms of price action, right? And have to adapt to what I'm seeing. So if we can see price continue going upwards, continue pushing out of this overall kind of a higher time frame structure, and a lower time frame correction here can really push out the price to the recent top. And I do think there is good risk reward in this as well, because we're in the impulsive stage of the price market right now, right? We're not in this consolidation anymore. If we break out, okay, we're going to be part of this bullish impulsive phase. And when you enter the trades, when you want to be in have good risk reward, you want to be when the market is impulsive. You don't want to be when it's in correcting stage. Okay, so that's what I see on Aussie dollar. Okay, so but it still needs lots of development, still needs a little bit more price action. I need to see a little bit more confirmation before I even consider something like this. But for now, this is what I'm seeing on Aussie dollar. Um, Pound dollar last week, I was looking at this, and this was a good one to go over as well, that we're prices kind of consolidating in this potential parallel channel. Okay, potentially you can see a rejection here to push down. All right, that's one way of seeing this, but as I say last week, that we did not break the low. So okay, we're still in this overall higher time frame structure. We didn't break the low, and I mentioned the only thing I don't like is we're potentially forming some sort of inverse head and shoulder. Okay, this is not yet complete, so this correction can still be correcting for a while. This can just come down again and then pump back again, right? So, I don't want to get trapped in this area, even though, yes, there might be some short-term sell if it dropped down like this, depending on your stop loss, depending on your risk management. I'm not sure what kind of percentage or what kind of profit you can be getting this. But obviously, if you're looking to sell, you are looking for more like as a bigger picture, right? You're not just looking for this much sell. Okay. If I'm looking for a sell, I want to see just an overall price actually break out of this overall kind of a higher time frame channel and then look for the sell down to here. Okay. I'm not worried about missing 100 or 150 pips here. It's fine, right? I want to be in the trade when the price is impulsive so that I know the probability it's going to work for me. It's going to be a higher probability that once we break out of here and then a correction here will give you a better trade for the downside. Okay, so that is pound dollar. Go over dollar CAD really quick. And remember last week when I said the prices in this area, I do see this push down to the lows, right? I didn't get into this because I didn't really see any possible entries. When the price started trickling down, I mentioned once it breaks this low, is it going to form some sort of correction here? Then I would consider something like this, but I don't see that, right? We just see price kind of trickle down more and more. There's really no correction. If you want to argue this could be a ascending channel, but it's really steep. Okay, it's not to my liking. I'd rather see once the price breaks this low, and then a little bit more structure, a little bit more tangible to push the price down. That is something that I would be look for. But we didn't see that happening, so that's fine. But what I do see now is that we see this as a reversal structure after price has been pushing up like this, and instead this reversal structure, we had the first bearish impulse, first correction, and we had another impulse. So waiting for another correction here will be ideal for another sell, at least to the lows here. And I do agree you can get pretty good risk reward here, at least 3-to-1 as well. Okay, so this one I'll be watching closely. But to be honest, I'm not really interested. You can see all these dollars are in the green, which is kind of my secondary watch list because I do see other pairs that are going to be much better in that sense, okay? Because the dollar still, to me, when I just went over dollar index, although I do see this sell is possible, okay, there is potential sell. That means the dollar will get weakened in this coming week or so, but it's not too clear, okay? You can see price can drop down to here and then potentially had a deeper pullback up, right, forming some sort of a head and shoulder pattern. And then we can still see price dropping down like this. Okay, so not to hurry or in an urge to get into these dollar pairs. Just want to be a little bit more conservative, waiting for the right setup. I don't want to waste my capital on mediocre trades. I want to focus on high probability trades. Okay, so that is what I see on most of the dollar pairs. So, okay, and let's continue. Let's continue kind of few pairs that I think is looking much better. Okay, more that I would put my money on, so to speak, in terms of the ones I'm seeing. Okay, so let's look at Aussie CAD. I like Aussie CAD here. Okay, and I talked about this last week already. That if I'm looking at this on a higher time frame, that what I like also is that we're finding a bottom here. Okay, this is clear to me that when you have at least a 2 minimum swing low and swing high, we can classify this as a parallel kind of a channel. We had this impulsive move to the upside, and we're just having a larger kind of a correction, right? And going down to the lower time frame, that price did not. Let me backtrack a bit. When the price was in this area, and I talk about this M style pattern, right? I remember some of you guys in the Telegram, you guys got into this sell, and I mentioned really gotta watch out when price hit this low. Is it going to continue or is it going to have reverse? And it's very similar like Aussie dollar, right? Because obviously some of these Aussie pairs are very correlated. We had that push down just like Aussie dollar, and I mentioned, is it going to break the low? And then if it breaks the low, is it going to have a correction here to continue lower? Instead, we had this really steep kind of structure here, and then it becomes a reversal correction. Okay, this is not a continuation. This becomes a reversal. You had a bearish impulse, reversal correction. You had a bullish impulse right back. And then see what the price is doing now is that we had a confirmed double bottom. We had a clear bullish impulse up, and then this is a bullish continuation correction, some sort of expanding kind of a flag structure. And if we look at the recent price action, we had this also. You can classify this as a parallel channel or a descending channel, whatever it is. It's correcting this down move. So there's a good indication that we can get to this next up move. And for me, it's about waiting for a price breakout this structure here. So that would be a good confirmation for me that this is an impulse correction and we can get the next impulse. And I want to get in, like I said, in the impulsive move of the market. So once price breakout, looking for a lower time frame correction and looking for the next buy. To me, this can be a very good risk reward once again. And I'll reevaluate to see what the price will do at the general top area, because we still have the higher time frame in our favor. I still see this as a strong impulse, larger correction, and this can very likely break out of this overall channel. But for me, as a first target or a main target would just be the recent high, and then to see if the price can break out and form more correction, then I would definitely jump into this buy as well. Okay, so that is Aussie CAD. Euro dollar. Euro dollar is not really on my watch list because I don't see too much, but I can go over euro dollar just quickly. I think most of you guys are seeing this as a potential euro dollar sell, at least in my Telegram group. I think you guys are all looking at a potential sell. And last week I mentioned that when prices in this overall kind of a channel or kind of a correction, I'm just not too interesting, okay, because it can just move up and down like this. I don't really want to get into these kind of sell. You had a sell and then you move to break even. You either get stop out or you're just holding a trade, right? That's why I'm not too. For me personally, I don't like these trades when they're in this kind of a long-term consolidation. And just from experience, this can just go up and down for indefinitely, and you're just gonna trap in this kind of a consolidation. And that's when traders get a little bit more emotional and they see profit comes, profit go, profit come, and then that ruins their overall trading plan, right? So if you're going to be selling euro dollar, if that's what in your plan to do so, personally, I would just wait for a little bit more confirmation, right? You see that price is still respecting in these overall kind of a channel structure. So just wait for that simple breakout, right? Wait for that breakout, wait for a lower time frame correction to confirm that this is all the correction we're going to get for this move, and looking for that lower time frame correction to push the price lower, right? This can be a good size risk reward, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. That is how I would manage or try to get in if I'm going to be selling euro dollar. Other than that, happy to just be on the sideline and wait for better price action to develop. All right, so that is euro dollar. So went over Aussie CAD, right? So let's go over Aussie Swiss. So Aussie Swiss higher time frame, very similar like most Aussie dollar and Aussie CAD that I just went over. You just have to, when I see this on a higher time frame, and I just have to zoom out and see what the price is telling you, right? You had this overall impulse, correction impulse, and then price did not continue lower. When I had this impulsive move, was there a correction to continue? Nope. Instead, we just had this impulse and we had this reverse bullish impulse right back, right? And you see this a lot in equity, so in stocks. When you get this kind of a V-shaped kind of correction back, and you're seeing this overall correction building, there's a very good chance that this is the inverse head and shoulder pattern. And because we dropped down so much already, if we zoom out on the higher time frame, that we can potentially get the next bullish reversal, all right? And how do I confirm this? How do I manage this? Well, price is still in this overall area, so happy to be a little bit more patient on this. While I do think that this looks very clean, impulse, correction, impulse, but on the lower time frame, I still see a little bit more development is needed. This is nice that we didn't break the, we're at this double bottom price, did not break below that, and we continue up, but we had this a little bit of a consolidation here. So same thing with Aussie CAD. I will wait for a breakout of this overall structure. If there's a lower time frame here, if it's a good lower time frame correction, I would consider. But my usual kind of go-to setup in this kind of condition would be just waiting for the breakout, waiting for the lower time frame to get in the buy. And this buy is something that I won't miss, just like Aussie CAD I mentioned. They're just very clean. If it shows that, if you see that kind of price action on the lower time frame, and if you see on the higher time frame that the overall structure, the overall price action is telling you a potential bullish push, then I would be a little bit more patient because I want to catch the next bullish impulsive phrase, right? I want to be in the impulsive phrase. I don't want to be in the consolidation phrase. Okay, so when the price is confirmed in the impulsive phrase, the trades that I'm getting is going to give me a higher probability setup to hit my target. All right, so that is Aussie Swiss. Let's go Aussie Kiwi. This is a trade that I'm still in Aussie Kiwi, and those of you who followed me last week, I've been updating this in the Telegram, right? So I'm still holding this trade, and I'm still happy about the trade overall. No question for me to do it otherwise. I won't even try to move the stop or anything like that. No, I was just happy to let the trade run. Happy to even take a loss here. As I say many times, is that this fits my strategy perfectly, fits my plan. We had this impulsive move. We had this longer, kind of a deeper correction, very good, clean parallel channel. And the latest price action, we had this inverse hand shoulder and then bullish push up on the taller time frame, bullish kind of a continuation flag. And we had this clear breakout from the lower higher time frame channel, and then was just looking for a lower time frame correction to get in the buy. So even if it takes me out, that's fine, and I will still be looking at this for upcoming bullish move. It can very likely to just kind of hit the lows here, and then just form a larger kind of a correction before the next up move, right? And then I will be looking to get in the buy again if I see a little bit more structure develop in this case. All right. So that is my take on Aussie Kiwi. Still looking clean for me for more move. Even if it get me stop out from this trade, I will still look for a little bit more better entry and then a little bit more structure develop here and look for the next buy to the top. So that is Aussie Kiwi. Yeah, I did not. I went over pound dollar and Aussie dollar already, so might have to check the beginning. But let's just quickly go over them really quick. Aussie dollar, I mentioned, right? I see this a little bit differently than previous weeks because on the higher time frame, instead of seeing this as some sort of like ascending channel, like something what we have before, but I can't miss out the fact that the price when we had this impulsive move breaking below here, we did not continue lower, right? We did not continue lower. Instead, we find this kind of a bottom here, and price had this impulsive move up followed by a correction. So this is a sign to me that this could be the next bullish push, the next bullish phrase of the market condition. So I want to see what the price will do if it's going to break out this overall channel, and then looking for the next move up. So that is Aussie dollar. Pound dollar, I mentioned. Prices in this consolidation area. I'm not going to jump into the sell here. Whether to wait for the breakout here and then a lower time frame would be the more safer side. But even this, to me, as I mentioned last week, there's few drawdowns or a few negative confluence that I don't like is we didn't break out of the overall higher time frame. So this price can just continue moving up and then still dropping down, and it's still within the higher time frame correction. So there's nothing wrong in terms of price action. And we also potentially getting this inverse hand shoulder as well. Okay, that's why I want to see a little bit more development here. I do see a lot of you guys are potentially looking for a sell here, at least in my Telegram. I think I see you guys. So if it forms some sort of correction here, first push down, first lower time frame correction, yeah, there can be a valid sell. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm not saying there's not a sell here or you shouldn't sell this. It's just for me personally, for my trading plan, I like to be a little bit more cautious. I want to wait for a little bit more confirmation. Like I said, I'm not worried about missing 100 pips or 150 pips here. If I want to get in this sell, I'm looking for the higher time frame. I'm looking for the overall picture, right? I'm not worried about a little bit of a profit here. Okay, so that is pound dollar and Aussie dollar. For Aussie Kiwi descending structure, will you take a long entry if price breaks structure impulsively to the upside? Or because it is in descending structure, you will wait for break at the previous high to avoid double top? If you're talking about this, this to me is just a lower time frame correction. It's not really like how I see a higher time frame descending channel structure. Yes, it is a structure, don't get me wrong. It's just that Uh, I think what you're saying is if it just breaks here, you put in an entry order like this. Um, yes or no, depending on the price is doing. Because what I'm seeing here is like it looks to me that it's going to go something like this. It might move down once more before the up move. Okay, something like this. So this won't be just the first buy that's going to take off, just based on kind of the structural condition. So if I know that it's going to form something like this, if you notice that you had that bullish impulse and you had the first correction, right? This could be the same kind of a descending channel, just like that, right? But you notice that price popped to the upside and then come down once again before the up move. So who to say that we won't get this in the kind of an exact kind of a formation, right? You can put it like this, and that could be a structure, right? And it will look pretty similar than this structure here, which is a continuation for this move, and we're getting the next continuation. Okay, so if you ask me, I will wait a little bit because I'm in the trade already, so it's irrelevant for me. But if you're not in the trade, I personally won't jump into this. I'd rather see a little bit more development. That is how I see it. Okay. Often get stop out when I trade descending structure. Yeah, I mean, you got to be a little bit more careful. You have to have a plan, right? You shouldn't go with how I feel or you feel. It's waiting for a little bit more confirmation from the market. Whereas the previous trade I entered, this was the first breakout and a forced lower time frame correction, and I entered it with a pretty decent stop loss. And but since the price has developed a little bit more, then if I was in this situation, if I haven't gotten into trade yet, then yeah, I will wait for a little bit more development, looking for a reversal here, or waiting for a breakout and then lower time frame correction for the buy. Okay, so that is Aussie Kiwi. So let's move on. Let's move on to a few yen pairs. I think these are also talked about in my group, right? You guys are talking about potential sell on some of the yens, and I don't disagree that there is still potential sell for the yen pairs. It's just that for me, when some of you guys messaged me this and were like, "Hey, are we going to get a head and shoulder pattern?" I mean, when price was not like, let's say the price was in this area, when the price is only like this, right? And then I think some of you guys like, hey, we're developing this potential ascending channel. This can be a head and shoulder pattern. Should we sell, sell, sell? I mean, and I just tell them, no, it's too early to determine, right? When the price is in this area, yes, you're seeing ascending channel, but you're also missing the fact that we had a strong kind of a bearish breakout. Okay, we didn't get any continuation correction to push down. Instead, this is a clear bullish push up, and it's potentially forming a bullish structure, right? So you gotta take it as what it is. Yes, higher time frame perspective. I mentioned this a lot of times, and I'll mention again that we're looking at this as a potential ascending kind of a structure, and there's a high probability you're going to get the impulse, correction impulse. And we had this impulse, this could be a correction, and then needs a little bit more consolidation to push the price down. I do see that, right? But you got to take it as what the market is telling you. What is the lower time frame telling you, right? What is the 4 hour, 1 hour telling you? Well, we broke the low, just like Aussie Kiwi, Aussie CAD, sorry, Aussie Swiss, Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar. We had this bearish impulse move. We break the low, but it does not continue, right? And that's what you have to take a message from the market is that. So we didn't break the low. Are we going to get a little bit more complicated structure now to develop before the next down move, or this is going to be a turning point for most of the Aussie dollar pairs, and now we can potentially get strength in Aussie dollar in all the Aussie pairs. Okay, so this is where I wouldn't even consider touching it, right? And this is the area where it can just continue going higher, or it's going to form a little bit more deeper structure and tagging a lot of new traders out because you're just stuck in this consolidation. You're likely going to have a pretty small stop loss, and some of the times you're just going to get tagged out. Okay, so why waste your trading capital? Be a little bit more cautious on these ones. Okay. Not much on the other yen, on these yen pair. Oh, euro yen. See, you guys keep talking about euro yen, and same idea with Aussie yen, right? Some of you guys are looking some sell here. Some of you guys are looking at even this area for a sell, and this is why I say same thing with the Aussie yen is that you're in this period of consolidation. Price can just do anything it wants, right? You got in the sell here, you just drop a little bit and then come back reverse. So if you didn't move it to break even, you might be at a loss already, right? And this is kind of the trade I always try to avoid. It's not that it won't work, and this is what a lot of new traders don't understand is that it's not that when you enter the sell here that it won't drop. Okay, there's obviously a probability, there's a chance that it can drop, right? Trading is probability, it's not right and wrong. So you potentially you can enter a sell here and then it can go down and you will look like you're a genius, right? You just captured the entire sell. But most of the time it's when it's in this longer period of consolidation, it just needs a little bit more time, right? While you could be getting the best risk reward looking for a sell, but for me, it's about confirmation, right? You can wait for a little bit breakout, wait for a lower time frame correction to sell. Although you probably get more profit than me, but my trade is safer. It's less risky than an enter short like here. Okay, and at the end of the game, at the end of the day, at the end of the month, is you try to be profitable, right? You're not trying to take more trades than others. When you take these more riskier trades, they might work out in your favor, they might not work out in your favor, but consistently, can you consistently take these riskier trades and then still have a plus at the end of the month, right? If you can, good for you, right? And you know how to choose your trades, you know how to manage them, good. But a lot of new traders can't, and that's why I don't suggest taking these sells, because once one of these sells work for you, you're always going to be looking for that sell now. You're always going to be trying to sell the high and buy the lows. And like I said, sometimes it will work out, but the times when you don't work out, you're going to be in the drama. You're going to have a greater drawdown, and people don't recover from that. All right. So that is Euro Yen. So Euro Yen for me, not too interesting. Like I said, waiting for the breakout would be more ideal. Even for the breakout, I still want to see what the price will do here. I'm not just going to jump in once it breakout, right? So that's what I see on Euro Yen. But I will go over the one that's favored for me, which is Kiwi Yen. Kiwi Yen is actually a pair that I actually agree that it's going to have another bullish push up, okay? I like what the structure is doing here. We remember when I was looking for a sell here when the price is at the top, and I just mentioned that I'm just going to be selling to the lows here because it was very key to see what the price will do at the general low area. Is the price going to, again, break the lows impulsively and then form a lower time frame correction to push the price down? Instead, we didn't see that, right? We clearly see a double bottom rejection, okay? And you had this push up, lower time frame correction, and we have another push up. And you see that on the 4-hour, this is a much bigger kind of a correction. This is kind of more tangible, a little bit more in depth. And I personally would just be looking for a lower time frame correction and to see if the price can push down to the recent high here. And this will be a very decent risk reward as well. And you do have the higher time frame in your favor, right? If you zoom on the higher time frame, remember this was the COVID drop. This was the COVID drop, and we had this consolidation or correction. We didn't see the price down, so this becomes a reversal for this bearish move, and we had this bullish impulse, and then price has been in this kind of a bullish kind of a consolidation. So when the price reached the low here, and looking for a buy to the recent top will be always ideal, right? You can see this as an impulse, correction, impulse. Okay, that is what I see on Kiwi Yen right now. So do see this can be a decent risk reward trade. Just need a little bit more development here on the lower time frame. So that is Kiwi Yen. Let's go to Euro Aussie. Do you always close the trade when the price reaches the low, or do you wait for the break first? Well, I have few targets. I don't set the target price right away on the first recent lows or anything. It's more once I see the price break the low, then I have a better confirmation for that move. Then I can adjust my I can adjust my TP to the next recent low, so I can extend the profit a little bit. I'll go over Euro Kiwi, so you'll see that in a minute. Euro Aussie still liking as we talk. I think some of you guys brought up this in the Telegram, right? I personally still see this as a very clear bearish move. Okay, of course people see it differently. That's all fine. For me personally, I like the rejection overall. I like this kind of a double top on the higher time frame. Price has been in consolidation here since mid-June. And if you zoom out here on the higher time frame, to me it's just this is just a very clean kind of a impulsive move down, and we have this correction here. So very high probability that we're going to get the next impulse, right? You see how the price was reacted was that you had this COVID move, right? When COVID happened, you had this move up. Instead of continue to push up, we then reverse right back down and actually forming a correction. There was no correction here to push the price up, but instead we had this bearish move, bearish correction on the higher time frame, looking for the next bearish impulse. So how I would see is, remember, I think it was SJ pointing out this in Telegram. I personally would just wait to see price have to break the lows here. I won't be considered, even if the correction is forming here, which is likely to do what it's doing now. Just because based on experience, we're very close to the lows already. It can form a correction here and then just hit the lows and start bouncing up, right? I don't want, or bouncing up to form maybe some sort of head and shoulder before the next down move, and I don't want to get trapped in here. I'd rather wait for the clear break below this and then a lower time frame correction to get in this. And I still think there's lots of room to the downside. Okay, and if we zoom out on the higher time frame, we're still in this consolidation. When the price is in the next bearish impulsive move, you want to be in there for the maximized reward, right? So that is Euro Aussie. Let's move on to EuroCAD. I think EuroCAD also looks very clean for this week. This is Kiwi Yen and Euro Aussie are my favorite ones to take a look at. So let's look at the 4-hour here. We finally see this as the impulsive move. We had this correctional structure, really kind of a deeper parallel structure, and we had this push down, and then we had this kind of an uglier kind of a correction, but we do have a correction and another push out. So this is all good to me. We broke the previous low here, good. So very likely that it's going to form a correction here. So whether or not it's going to continue down, I do think you can get decent risk reward here also. So waiting for a correction here would be ideal, and then this will be kind of your first target. And if price continue break below, then look for the next sell like this. Okay, and this will complete pretty much the higher time frame structure. Is that we had this impulsive move, we're just having a long-term kind of a structure, and once the price hit the lows here, potentially completing this kind of a parallel channel and look for the next up move. Okay, so that is Euro CAD. Go over Euro Kiwi really quick. Euro Kiwi is a trade I'm still in. Those of you who have been following me, I think some of you guys got into this sell as well. Not sure if you guys are holding it because I saw some of the posts you guys may got break even or tag out or just manually close it because the price kind of popped to the upside. Personally, is something that I would suggest if you enter a trade. This is why I keep telling you guys, if you enter a trade, accept that it can go to a loss. Okay, right away. If you enter a trade, accept that it can go to a loss. Instead of thinking, when I enter, I'm gonna stare at the monitor all day. I'm gonna stare at every candle it developed. If it pops to the upside, I'm gonna exit. While it can work for you, and sometimes you can save some capital, but a lot of times when you see price impulse away, and you're gonna have all kinds of emotion because you're gonna be asking yourself, why did I prematurely close it? Why did I do that? I'm so stupid because I just lose, 3-4% of profit like this, and that's why I don't do that, guys. It's all about consistency. How do you determine when to close this? Is it just based on your emotion, based on your feeling? Price pop to the upside above where I enter, so I'm not going to hold it. Like, what is your decision factor? What is your trading plan? If you don't have anything in there, then you're just gambling, right? Because you're choosing your result, or your decision is just based on random variable. You're not having a clear plan to plan this. So my plan is simple. When I enter this trade, I'm just going to hold it. And I mentioned when the price is in this area, even if it goes up again, then I'm still looking for the sell, right? Remember this trade that I entered last weekend, right? If you guys remember when the sell happened, right? And I mentioned this is the correction. We pushed the sell down, and when it developed this descending channel, I put my stop above, and I said, even if it breaks me out, I'm looking for a M-style pattern, right? I'm looking for price to continue up here again, forming some sort of double top, and then still looking for the sell. That was my plan all along, and I stick to that, right? I'm happy to see if I still have this. So I'm happy to be here, take 3% profit, price pop to the upside, and look for the sell again, right? That was in my plan all along, and I just have to execute it perfectly so that there's no emotion for me to second guess myself. So for Euro Kiwi, price is looking pretty clean, right? This is forming some sort of a correction here. Okay, so those of you who got in this trade, which is good, my first target is the lows here. I think there was a question about breaking the lows, whatever. So my first target will always be the first recent low. This is about 4.4 4.1 risk reward, and then I'll see if the price can just break it impulsively, or is it going to kind of start stalling here or forming some sort of descending channel, very similar than previous price action. Then this is a message I'm getting from the market that this potentially is not the bearish move that was going to continue lower. Can we get another push up like this? And even if it happens, I'm still going to be looking for the sell from the top, right? The higher time frame price action does not change. We still see this as an impulse. You're just seeing a longer, deeper correction, but the structure itself doesn't change. Okay, the structure itself, the way where the price has been, is still in this overall structure. So nothing changes. It's just that when price is in this overall consolidation period, it can do anything. Okay, it can do anything. It's just that when the price reached the top, we as technical trader knows that there's a higher probability chance when the price is at the top, we can get the next sell to the lows, right? That's why we're trying to capitalize something like this. Okay, so if you're not in the trade, I wouldn't jump into this trade now. Okay, we're about halfway through this overall bearish move, right? So not that you can't get in. This is the difference, that you can't get in the sell. It can work out for you, right? But for me, if I wasn't in this trade already, I would just look for, same thing with Euro Aussies. I want to see the price break this low first. So let it continue lower. And then if it breaks the lower and then form a lower time frame correction, then this will be my ideal sell. To the lows here, you still can get at least 3-to-1, 4-to-1 here. And if it breaks out the lows here again, then if you zoom out here, there's really nothing else is going to stop it. You break the low, and then looking for a continuation to push the price lower. All right. So that is what I see on Euro Kiwi. Okay. Didn't get the best setups to watch this week. There are some. I mean, the ones that I'm looking at least, the ones that I'm looking at, I do like I said, Aussie CAD I like, Kiwi Yen, Euro CAD, they're all looking pretty good, at least for me. One more to go over, Kiwi Swiss. So this was just a maybe that I had on the list. Just the overall price action, I seen this as an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Okay, we had this bearish push down, right? There was a bearish push down from here, and then we had this bullish reversal, bullish impulse right back up. We're forming this kind of a consolidation correction, and this looks to me is a continuation for this. And if we get the breakout and then a lower time frame correction, there's a inverse head and shoulder here as well. So I do think there's potential buying this opportunity. Okay, just throwing it out there. Not my favorite. I do like Kiwi Yen and Euro Kiwi much better anyways. So like in my risk management trading plan, I'm not going to jump into all the Kiwi pairs or whatever. Just going to pick the best one and then choose the one that has the best setup and the best risk reward as well. Last one I'll go over is Pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi, I think this brought up as well someone in Telegram group. I like the overall price now. Okay, I like the overall kind of a parallel channel that we're in. We had this impulsive move, and we're just being this sideways consolidation. And the more correction I see, the more kind of the price action I see, the better it is that this is a long-term kind of a correction. We could be potentially getting the next bullish push. And let's look at the higher time frame perspective. If we zoom out to the weekly, obviously price has been in this kind of a dropping decline, right? Since 2017, obviously pound has been weaker. And zooming into kind of the recent price action, what I like about this is that this was the previous low, or all-time low, really. All-time low price had this COVID drop, right? We had the COVID, the market crash. Hit the previous low, we did not continue lower. And that's really the key, is that we did not form a correction here. We did not continue lower. Instead, we had this bullish push out, so a bullish reversal, and then potentially this is a bullish kind of a continuation correction on a higher time frame. And if it forms me a lower time frame correction, I do see this move continue. And if it breaks out of this overall area, then we could potentially see the next bullish push. And this is what I see from a higher time frame perspective. So obviously this kind of move will take weeks or a month to continue. So be a little bit more patient. On the lower time frame, I do see this is a very clean kind of setup. We had this reason double bottom. Okay, we had this ascending channel. We had the bearish push down, but again, did not continue lower. Instead, we had the reversal, we had this correction, and you can count this as really just one impulse, one correction that's building and waiting for the next push up like this. Still very good risk reward, even just to the top of the overall structure, because we as technical trader or price action trader, we know that when price reach the high here, there's still a small chance that it can drop down to the lows here. Then we're just making this overall channel just a larger, deeper channel, and still looking for the buy move from here. Okay, so that's last one. That is pound kiwi. Any questions on any of the currency pairs before I jump into a few other ones? I want to go over commodity, a few equities, and crypto. Okay, I'm gonna have to go a little bit faster today because I talk a little bit slow. So what do you do when there is a comp here and it's not clear reading the price action? For instance, euro dollar from 13 November, then don't trade, right? Don't trade that pair or don't trade that currency. Find better opportunities, right? You don't always need to be in the trade. I think again, I get this question a lot. I'm not picking on you, Peter. I get this question a lot from all the new traders. I need to earn 100 pips today. I need to make 2% a day. I honestly think that's not the right mindset because it becomes something that you must hit. And sometimes when you don't see any setup or you don't see any good position, you're like, okay, I still need to make 2% or I still need to make 100 pips. And that you forces trade when you should be looking for the best setup, right? Not saying if you enter any trade, they won't go to hit your profit. Obviously, they will. It's a probability, right? You enter 10 trades, you're bound to hit 2 or 3 trades that are going to your profit. But the point is, are they good trades? Are they valid trades? Do those trades fit your trading plan? If they don't, then why are you entering them? It's very simple, right? Don't enter trades if it doesn't fit your plan or you don't see an immediate price action to show you that it's going to be a buy and sell. If you don't see anything, then just move on, right? You don't have to be in a trade, guys. I'll tell you that most professional traders won't be trading so many if they're not a scalper. Okay, if you're not a scalper, you really wouldn't be entering too many trades because when professional traders have a larger account capital, you're not going to have all your capital at risk of a greater drawdown. When you have a larger account, you enter 5 trades, 10 trades, you're putting your account at jeopardy, right? You're putting your account at risk to be exposed to the market conditions. Where there's no setups, then just don't trade. It's very simple. I'm happy to be in the trade and I'm happy to be not in the trade. It's not about I'm only happy when I'm in the trade because there's potential profit. I'm happy to be not in the trade because I conserve my capital. It's the same idea. Okay. This is very interesting. I appreciate the stream. Yeah, no problem. I do it at least 3 times a week, by the way. So if you're interested, just add my Telegram or TradingView or YouTube. You can see all this, all my live streams and all the other stuff. So let's move on. Let's look at gold. I think most of you guys are talking about gold as well, right? Personally, I'm not really looking for a short, okay? And I was looking for a short. Well, I did go into this short here, right? Those of you guys follow me. And I mentioned about the short because you have to look at the price as what it is, right? When the price hits the low, and then this is where you want to take profit because you don't know that this is going to be a move that's going to continue lower and price likely to react to this low anyways, right? So this is a good example of understanding how the price moves and take advantage of it. A lot of traders, they may get into the sell, but they'll be holding the sell thinking it's going to go down to like a way lower level. And when price start continue like this, they're going to miss out half of their profit, right? A trade that's supposed to be a 4-to-1, which is one I got, they end up getting only 2-to-1 or even break even, for example, right? So this is about taking profit. This is about understanding what the price will do and then react to it. So anyways, how I see gold now is very simple. We're at this crucial area now, and everyone draws trend line differently, so it doesn't really matter how you draw your trend line. The whole point is, the way how I see it is we hit this bottom, so it's a clear double bottom to me, and we're getting this a little bit of a bullish push. And when this thing drop, and I think some of you guys are looking at this as a sell, And was there a continuation here? Was there a confirmation? You know, it's all kind of based on your preference, really. Yes, potentially this is a correction, but how do you enter this sell? Well, personally, if I was going to enter any sell, I would always do a stop order, right? This is how I got into this sell, is a stop order, right? So if you're looking for this kind of a breakout and you think you can fit, it fits your trading plan, because for me, I'm always getting 3-to-1 minimum. That's my risk criteria, right? If I'm looking at the low as a target, this trade has to be 3-to-1 minimum risk reward. If I don't fit 3-to-1, then there's no trade for me. It's very simple, right? Not saying that this won't go down. It's just that for my plan, I'm looking for 3-to-1 risk reward. If it doesn't happen, then I'm happy to let this one go, even if it comes down, right? You just have to understand that as a trader, you're not always going to capture all the move, right? You're not always going to capture all the profit. Is what fits in your trading plan to capture. Okay, so how do I see this go now? Well, this is all I really want to see is in this week, are we going to get more breakout, more bullish price action to push out, and then some sort of lower time frame continuation correction to get in, because I'm seeing this as a inverse head and shoulder potentially developing now. So I want to see the breakout and then some sort of a right shoulder structure or correction develop here to potentially push the price up. Otherwise, nothing to me. I'm not looking for a sell. I'm not even going to jump in the buy because we have this bullish push. You can see this as some people could draw the line like this. Sorry, I'll use a trend line. Some people can draw their trend line like this, and then they'll be like, hey, we broke out already. I'm not looking for the buy. This is why trend line is very subjective, and I don't use trend line for what people normally do to hold the trend. I'm just using trend line to draw out the structure, right? Even if it breaks out of the trend line or breaks below the trend line, it's irrelevant for me. It's what I see as a price action. What I need to see is that bullish impulse, bullish continuation correction, whatever it's going to be for me in this area, and then look to see how clean and how it is, how development it is on the price, and potentially getting the next buy on gold and looking for the recent top as a potential target, just like how I look at the recent bottom as a potential target. Okay, so that is what I see on gold. So let's move on to a few equity pairs. I think some of you guys asked me about a few equities, so we'll go over those as well. So any question on gold before I jump into the equities? So I'll go over a few equity pair that look pretty clean to me that we can potentially look for opportunities in the upcoming. They're only going to be US stocks anyways, okay? So go over it really quick. So Zoom. So I like Zoom. Remember there was a buy potential here. I personally didn't get in this, but I mentioned that when price has this gapping kind of thing, wait for price to pretty much correct or fill the gap, right? And then looking for the next impulse. So we had this impulsive move out. That's good. So all I want to see now is this is clearly to me some sort of a triangle, a pennant kind of a structure. Whatever it is, I'm looking for that breakout, waiting for the lower time frame correction to get in the buy. Okay, I do think this is pretty clean, and we're already kind of in this overall trending kind of price action anyways, right? You'll see that a lot of these stocks during the pandemic, right? During the pandemic, there's really not much has happened. If you look at Zoom, because this is obviously an exceptional case because everyone is using Zoom during this COVID time anyways. So price has just been moving up. If you see, this was the previous kind of a correction that I mentioned here before the next buy move. And potentially we're just forming a similar structure, similar kind of continuation structure, and looking for the price to get pushed up. Do I use what? VWAP? I don't know what that is. Sorry. Euro dollar, I already went over. I'll go over at the end, okay? Because I gotta continue. So let's continue. Tesla. So made a Tesla post as well, and looking for the buy. I mean, it's very clear to me. So we had this previous buy here that I got in. Got some profit once price dropped down to, I remember here. And really, if you look at the structure, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Is that we're just in this overall bullish trend, right? Continuation, bullish push, continuation, bullish push, and waiting to see what the structure will do here. Ideally is to be a breakout and then lower time frame correction to get in the buy. This will be always my buy, just like the similar buy here. And of course, there is a possibility that price can just move. Price can just kind of trickle down once more, hitting the previous low or previous low here, and you just have to adjust to see what the structure is doing, right? Structure is ever evolving, right? It's ever changing. So if it moved down here, break the previous low, finding a bottom of this overall kind of a channel structure, then I'll still be looking for the buy. Okay, so that is Tesla. Netflix is also good. If we zoom out here, Netflix is also another one that's really wasn't affected by the COVID. You had this kind of a little bit push down, and then price just resumed its bullish kind of push. So what I like about it now is that we already had a few kind of push up. We haven't had a bigger consolidation that is forming. To me, this is a very clean kind of a correction that's forming. Again, I see two possible scenarios: either a push up, lower time frame correction to push up higher, or wait for the price to trickle down once more, similar like Tesla, and then looking for a reversal price action for the buy. So that is Netflix. Volume weighted average price. If that's an indicator, I don't use that. I don't use any indicators, so that is not something I'm familiar with. I'm just looking at the price as the most raw form. Okay, so no indicators, no nothing uh, to tell me other information. I'm just trying to keep my chart clean and simple. Okay, because I focus on price action, so I really don't need any indicators on my chart. Apple, right? I'll go over Apple. Let me go over a few other ones. Actually, yeah, let's go over Apple because Apple, I'm looking for a buy really. So I'll make this post after, but Apple, I'm looking very clearly for the buy. Okay, so we're being obviously in this upward bullish trend for since the COVID. Again, nothing. It wasn't too affected by the COVID. If you look at it, we had this mini kind of descending kind of a channel. This was the COVID time, and then prices already rebound back so much more, right? And I see this a lot in stocks, especially is that you continue to have the bullish move, and then it's not going to be a clean kind of a correction. Instead, it had this kind of a bearish drop, but it was forming this descending kind of channel, so it's a reversal structure. We had this price broke up and then potentially forming a lower time frame correction. So I will want to see during the New York session in the upcoming day, is it going to form a little bit more? Is it going to push out a little bit more and then lower time frame to get in? That is going to be my buy, and then look to see what the price would do at this previous high and the all-time top here. So lots of risk reward here, and those of you who follow me, when I trade stocks, when I trade equity, or crypto, I am more as a swing trader. I'm looking to hold a trade for a longer period of term, whereas for currencies is more short to medium term. Okay, so that is Apple. Okay, any question on these ones, guys? These are kind of few equities that I'm looking at for the upcoming week. Again, they're all New York. I mean, not New York. They're all U.S. stocks. I don't look at any. Oh, actually, Vodafone. Those of you guys who are in Europe, this is Vodafone, which is the telecommunication in Europe, right? Made this post a while back, and finally, price is showing me a little bit more bullish activity. We had this COVID drop, okay, and instead we had a bullish push up and then bullish correction, another bullish push up, good, and now we're just in this overall deeper consolidation. And if we zoom in a little bit, what I like about the price is that in the last bit of price action, it's a little bit messy, but this is clear to me a descending channel within this larger structure. And you had this kind of a consolidation, which is could be a reversal, right? Descending channel within the descending channel within the larger higher time frame structure. Very good price action. And you had this impulsive move to the upside and potentially breaking out of this higher time frame structure now. So wait for a little bit more development here in terms of price action. And I do think the buy here is valid. Even just to the top here would be pretty good as well. Okay, so that is what I see on Vodafone, sorry. So any questions on any of the equities before I jump into crypto last? What about NASDAQ? I can go over NASDAQ. So not seeing too much here. Even though I am bullish on all the equities, I'm not seeing too much here in terms of Nasdaq. You can kind of classify this as an impulsive move. This is a correction to push the price higher. And remember last week I was kind of saying, well, I'm gonna kind of see what the price will do in this general kind of top area. So price did manage to break up impulsively. This is good. It's also good for all the equity pairs I'm looking at, that this could potentially be the bullish push. But what I see this as an overall thing is that, remember, the higher time frame, we were in this overall kind of channel structure, ascending channel, and then you have a lower time frame ascending channel, and then you have this bearish impulse. It's just that when I see this bearish impulse and then when I see a period of consolidation, I'm usually trying to look for the next impulse. That's just kind of how I see price action, right? Of course, if the price develops something further, if it develops lower time frame to continue lower, then I can change my bias. But so far, this can still just be an expanding kind of a structure, right? You have the impulse, you're just having a complicated structure, and potentially you can still see the bearish move. And that's why I'm not going to just be too rushed to jump into anything. I think some of you guys are looking at this as a buy, right? If you're just looking at, if this is all the price action you're looking at, yeah, I can totally see this is the buy. You had the impulse, you had a correction, and you had the next buy, right? But you gotta look at it from a top-down approach. Is like, what does the higher time frame tell you? What is the latest price action telling you? Can there be a different bias? Can there be a different kind of analysis on it? If there's going to be contradicting things, then I'm happy to stay out, right? So same thing with S&P. It's very similar, right? Again, this could just be a expanding kind of structure, right? You have the impulse structure, correction, and looking for the next impulse. Okay, so waiting for the confirmation, meaning if the price is going to develop something here, a bullish continuation, then that is a confluence to tell you that the sell is no longer valid. We could potentially just be getting a reversal and continue upward the price. Okay, so you have to understand what the market is telling you, and don't get married to your analysis. It's fine to be wrong, right? I was looking at this as a potential sell, right? A potential ascending channel, and see what the price will do here. My confirmation would be I'm gonna need for a break out of this overall channel, lower time frame correction to push down the buy. If I don't see this, then no trade for me. Happy to accept my analysis was wrong and change my bias and go from there, right? That is why it's so much easier for me to really just move on. And then, whereas I think newer traders have a hard time to let go. Okay, you don't have to be right all the time. Okay, new traders, there's a lot of ego involved for new traders. They think they have to be right. You don't have to be right, especially in your forecast. You can be wrong because you're waiting for a little bit more confirmation from the market. If it doesn't happen, then no trade, right? That to me is a win, right? Because you save your capital in a trade that would have gone the other way, right? So it's fine with that, right, guys? So continue make your forecast and continue wait for a little bit more confirmation from the market so that you won't waste unnecessary trades on. I mean, you won't waste unnecessary capital on these mediocre trades. All right. So let's move on. Crypto last. Okay, let's jump into crypto. So there's a few crypto I watch. There's a few. They're all bullish to me. Okay, so let's take a look at a few of them. This is Cardano. I like the overall price. Let me explain this. We had this overall bullish impulse. We had this correction. We pushed up the price again. I was looking for a buy potential here. Okay, this was maybe in late July, and price enough for that we decide, and price formed this more deeper descending channel structure. And the latest price action is very clean to me. Okay, you had this inverse head and shoulder. This to me is a very clean inverse head and shoulder. We had this right shoulder becoming a flag, right? We have a lower time frame impulse, lower time frame correction, and we push out now. So very good. So all I need to wait for is a correction to develop here. And I'm going to look for the buy to get in to push the price up to at least the previous top, and then see what happens in this top area. So lots of risk reward, right? And lots of time to get there. So don't rush this one. Wait for a correction here would be the more ideal case. Okay, and if you look at higher time frame, we were just at the previous low. So it's naturally for price to begin its bullish potential now. Okay, so that's Cardano. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, this is what I see now. Originally had the structure draw like this, and once price had this, find this bottom here, we had this push up, we had this kind of a triangle structure, and we break out. So this is all a good indication that a bullish move can continue. So how I would take this? Well, I'm looking at a potential kind of a correction that will build up here, and then looking for the next buy move to the recent top. And then once the price break the top, because we're just in the middle here, if we zoom out here on a higher time frame, this is the all-time top for Bitcoin, right? So I want to see if price can break above this previous top. Once it does, and there's lower time frame correction, then I do see this can continue upwards. And higher time frame, it gives you that clue, right? We have the impulse, correction, and looking for the next impulse. So that is Bitcoin. Let's look at Link. Link is my favorite. I want to say OMG is also my favorite. So let's talk about Link. I've been talking about Link since late September, so it's about 2 weeks now. But finally, price is showing you very clean kind of a breakout now, right? We're in this overall descending channel. We pop to the upside, and then another kind of a parallel or flag structure. Pop to the upside again. Waiting for the confirmation will be the breakout, right? Waiting for the breakout. Waiting for a lower time frame correction to develop here, and look for the next buy. Definitely going to be in this buy. This is very promising. If you look at the overall price action, doesn't get any more cleaner than that. You had this impulse, small correction, you had a large impulse, and you're just in this period of larger consolidation, waiting for the next impulse. Very straightforward like this. Okay, so that is Link. Let's talk about OMG. OMG made this post as well. To me, it's very clear, again, that this is a potential reversal we're developing here. Just have to be a little bit more patient, right? Higher time frame, we're hitting this kind of a double bottom area. Price has been in this kind of overall kind of a downtrend, right? We have this downtrend moving. And latest price action, if we just zoom out a little bit, we had impulse, correction, impulse, right? We hit the previous low. Instead of forming some sort of correction to go lower, we then start getting this bullish impulse, bullish correction, bullish impulse, bullish correction. So this to me becomes an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and potentially to reverse the overall price. And I like about the right shoulder, I like this impulse on the lower time frame. I like this kind of flag continuation structure. We broke out. All I need to see is waiting for a lower time frame correction here to get into buy. Okay, that is how I see this. Should be developing nicely into this week. Last two I want to go over, Ripple and Ripple Bitcoin. Very similar, very, very identical to me. So been going over this for weeks now because it just takes weeks to develop, but still seeing the very potential of this, right? Impulse, correction, impulse, all of the higher time frame structure, and then this is a lower time frame correction. Just waiting for that breakout, waiting for a confirmation here to get in the buy. Very similar like Ripple Bitcoin. Impulse, correction, and then once we break out the structure here, and waiting for this kind of a correction to finish to get in the buy. Okay, most of these crypto are going to act the same, right? When they're in bullish, they're likely to go in bullish. When they're bearish, they're likely to be all bearish as well. So my plan, I'm not going to jump into every single one of them. I'm going to choose the best available one, the best risk reward, and looking to jump into at least one of them, if not two maximum, and I will go from there. So that is all the crypto I'm looking at. Any questions on any of the crypto, and any questions on anything, I'm happy to answer a few questions before I end the stream. Have you heard about GDH, LCD USDT? Or you're saying LTC USDT, isn't it? Are you talking about this or LCD? I don't find LCD USDT. Someone talk about US oil. Sure, let's go over US oil. Personally, I'm not seeing too much here. Okay. Don't mind about these line I'm joining, but that's not telling you it's going to be a short or anything. I've been looking at oil for a while since this move, and I was looking at a potential sell here. And once the price behaving a little bit more correctly, if I kind of didn't pay too much attention, I felt this was the impulse, and this can be a larger correction to push down. And because we're at the top here now, okay, and zooming down to the lower time frame, can we kind of push down a little bit more and get a correction here to push down the price? This could be one possibility, but I'm not too interested in terms of the price right now. Okay, this is because um, when I see this impulsive move and then we start getting, we didn't break the low yet, and then we start forming. This is, to me, this is not even a correction. This is more as a more neutral kind of a correction. Sorry, I don't mean it's a continuation correction for this move. I feel this is more of a neutral correction that's building. Okay, it can consolidate here a little bit longer, and the longer it kind of consolidate, uh, this no longer can, this can will not be a continuation now. It can easily become a reversal correction to push the price up. So I'm not too interested in the buy or sell in this moment. But if I see the price break below this low here and then form a lower time frame correction, then I would be interested in the sell. This becomes a larger correction just like this. And if I see that breakout, and looking for a correction would be the safer trade. While if it's in this kind of a consolidation period, I'm not too interested in the buy or sell. Right? Is trading now in China market around 71.92? Not heard of it or not too interested. I mean, they're all, to me, all the crypto are going to be pretty similar. Okay, I'm just finding the price action, and I'm not day trading crypto anyway. That's just my personal plan on crypto because crypto is very volatile. If you've been trading for a few years, you will know that a lot of people lost a lot of money in crypto. It's not that, well, I mean, they're new traders, so they lost money. That's one thing. But because the market in crypto is pretty volatile, what I mean by that is there's a lot of random volatilities, right? And if you're not aware of that, right? I'll just say this. I don't know if you guys were trading in this area of time. Um, I remember this happened. This was around the COVID time as well, and in a few days it dropped about half of its price, right? And that kind of volatility really generally never happened in currency. I mean, it will happen, but there's usually some sort of news event or some sort of bigger announcement or something that will affect the currency or the pair greatly. And something like Brexit, right? Those of you who've been around since Brexit, uh, Brexit is obviously a major news event, and that can happen to pound pairs, right? Whereas crypto, this can happen in a few hours where you're not even, you're not even there, and you're likely to lose a lot of money in that sense. And that's why I don't day trade crypto, because obviously if you're day trading, your stop is tighter, whatever the case. I'd rather be getting into crypto more as a swing trading or more as an investment rather than trying to get in and get out. Just my personal plan on it. Okay, obviously everyone trades different, and it's up to them to adjust to the market. Hello, Investomania. Nice to see you. So I'm pretty much done here, guys. I pretty much went over all four markets, and I went over all the ones that I'm looking at. So crypto, just last minute kind of reminder. Crypto, I'm looking at a few of these ones like Cardano, Bitcoin. Link looks best. OMG looks good too, and the Ripple Bitcoin and Ripple, they look pretty clean as well. And if you're looking at equity, a few of the ones, I think Apple looks great. And there's a few one I post, so feel free to check out my trading view to find the posting. Netflix, Tesla, and Zoom, they all look pretty good. And if we look at currency, the ones I'm focusing on is Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD for a bullish opportunity. Aussie Kiwi is the trade I'm in. Kiwi Yen is also a trade I'll be looking to get in if it forms the right price action here. And also Euro CAD is looking good for downside continuation. And as you know, I'm in Euro Kiwi. I'll see what the price will do in this general area. This is 4.4 to 1 risk reward roughly. And if it breaks below this impulsively, then I'll hold the trade down to the lows here. That will give me extra 3 to 1 minimum. So that would be a very good trade. Looking to see what the price will do. And even if price start coming here and then start forming descending kind of a structure or reversal structure, I'll just look to exit a trade for a little bit less profit. And that's fine with me. And last one, pound Swiss. Pound Swiss looking good on the higher time frame. Just want to see what it will do on the lower time frame and then potentially push up the price. All right, so that is all the ones I'm looking at. Any questions on anything before I end the stream? Yeah, happy to answer any question if you guys have for a little bit longer. And any questions, fine. If you join me late, like I said, I do all these streams usually 3 times a week. So I'll do a weekly outlook and I'll do 2 daily market update. I usually post all the time and links in my Telegram group. Feel free to add me if you are looking for those. And we do all the interactions in my group, right? So I have a chat group. Everyone share analysis and share things, right? I like to create that kind of atmosphere for everyone. And I think a lot of you guys message me. It's a good learning curve. It's good to be, talking among other people who also into trading, and that's how we grow and how do we learn together, right? And feel free to ask me questions in the group chat as well. I do try to answer a lot of questions if it's something important that I know and that I have knowledge on. I don't mind sharing that. So. Great stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So if there's no other questions, someone mentioned about euro dollar earlier, right? I'll just go over euro dollar again, just for simplicity. So I know euro dollar. I think some of you guys are looking for the sell. Okay, some of you guys are looking for the sell or something. And this is how I see it. And I know I said this in the beginning, and I'll repeat again: is that when price is in this kind of a deeper correction now, I usually won't be too too urged to jump in, because I know based on experience that the consolidation can go on forever. And it's not that if you jump into the sell, it won't work. It's more like if you jump in the sell and the price starts just consolidating a while, and you're just going to be in the emotional drown, right? You're just going to be stuck in this area where you're going to see profit comes, profit go, profit come, profit go. And it's actually a very negative feeling, right? The way how to avoid it is just what I said. If you're looking for a sell, right, I would wait for just that breakout, right? A complete bearish breakout of this overall channel, and then lower time frame correction to get in this. And I mentioned this same with pound dollars, that yes, I'm going to miss some profit. I'm going to miss some pips, but the way how I do it is going to be safer, right? At the end of the game, at the end of the day, you want to be less risk in trading. Okay, this is what a lot of traders, new traders, usually blow up their account or end up giving up, is they don't have too much understanding of risk management. They're going to jump into the trade, whatever they see, and they're just hoping that it will go their way. You can't hope when you're trading, right? Because the market can do whatever it wants. And when the market start acting differently, when the market starts showing you different price action, you can't just be like, I hope it's gonna go down, and there's no reasoning behind it, right? You need to have a trading plan. You need to have a criteria. You need to have a checklist on how to approach the market. Otherwise, trading is just a gambling, and you're just gonna gamble the money away. And then most people who've been through that will just blame the market for their mistakes, and they were never able to be consistent in trading, and they're not going to be consistent making money either, right? So you need to have a clear plan and clear goal on kind of what you want to take or what you want to do when it happens to a market condition like this, right? Mine is very simple. Wait for the first breakout, wait for a clear lower time frame correction, and then wait to see if I can get 3-to-1 risk reward in this, and I will consider something like this. Whereas if the price is in its overall area, I won't be interested. Whatever it forms here, even if it's some promising reversal price action in this area, well, I'll just wait for the first breakout, wait for a lower time frame. So I have 2 more extra confirmation than someone who's looking to sell like this. Okay, and I mentioned again, it's not that this sell won't work out. It will work out sometimes, right? If you take this trade 10 times, it'll probably work out a few times, right? Because it's probability. But consistently, long-term approach is not likely to be beneficial for your account. Okay. What is your approach when going from higher time frame to lower time frame? If you look at 1 day and 4 hour for entry, will you also check for instant 15-minute or 5-minute just to get in the trade earlier? That's probably a very good question. I'll explain this more thoroughly. So I'll use Euro Kiwi as example. So I would always do what I call multi-time frame analysis. I'm sure you hear this term a lot. What it really means is that you don't have to go through like every single time frame, right? Like every single possible time frame. What multi-time frame analysis, the way how I understand it, the way how I take advantage of, is looking at the higher time frame first. Okay, so anything daily, weekly, they're not gonna vary a lot. We know how there's people have a weekly bias and then a monthly bias. Really, they're really the same. It's just how many candles appear within that time range. But the overall, when we say higher time frame, is you just mean the higher time frame, a larger higher time frame, to give you a little bit more bias, a little bit more clarity on where the price may go. Okay, so for example, in Euro Kiwi, we're looking at this as we had this impulsive move, and we're likely to be forming a correctional structure here. So I'm looking for the next impulsive move, right? The next push down. Okay, so we're making this as the impulse, correction, impulse. So that is my higher time frame bias. Very clean, very straightforward. So now I'll go to lower time frame. So anything 4 hour, 1 hour, half an hour, whatever. So you start looking at the price, right? You see the price. Okay, so we're seeing the price is reacting to this top here. We're reaching at this overall top of the overall structure and going down to the time frame for extra clarity. I know on the higher time frame I'm looking for the sell, but I'm not just going to jump in because I see a high pass candle. Okay, that's like rookie mistakes, right? Yes, you see a high pass candle, but what is the lower time frame telling you? Is the lower time frame giving you a clear kind of a reversal, a bearish move? To me, it does, because we're in this ascending channel, which is a reversal. We had this strong pop to the upside, and then within that hour, we drop down. This is a very good indication that this is how the market catch all the rookie traders on the wrong side. You had this bullish push out. There's no confirmation correction to push the highs. It's just one big 1 hour candle, and a lot of new traders jump into this position, and in 1 hour they got tagged out. Right? This is whatever people call it, market manipulation, bank manipulation, whatever people call it. But the point is, I understand this easily, right? So I'm not going to jump into the buy or sell. I'm waiting for confirmation. So going down to the lower time frame, right? As I keep clicking down, we see the same ascending channel. We see that pop to the upside, and we quickly reverse back down, right? This is a reversal bearish price action. We had the first impulse, first lower time frame continuation correction, and this is how I get in the trade. This is why I go down to the lower time frame. It doesn't matter if I go into the 30-minute, 15 minutes. It's all going to tell me the same. It's just on the lower time frame, you're going to see more impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse, whereas on the higher time frame, it's just going to be one impulse. That's really all the difference, right? That's something you just have to understand, is that on the higher time frame, you'll see one impulse move, very clear. But if you go down to like the lower time frame, it's going to give you a lot more clarity on what the price will do, right? This is you see that there's impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse. Whereas on the higher time frame, it's just one big impulse, right? So once you see this, once you understand how higher time frame helps lower time frame, or lower time frame helps higher time frame, it's just going to be a much easier process for you to understand what the market is doing. Okay, it takes time, it takes effort. Don't get me wrong. I didn't instantaneously understand this, right? You need to back test. You need to do a lot of forecasting, right? You need to take a lot of screenshots, and then you need to work on looking at the market this way, right? Once you see it enough, then you just see it. I don't even need to, like I said a few times, I don't need these lines here. Okay, I don't need these lines at all. I can already tell you that I see this as the impulse. This is just a correctional structure. I'm looking for the next impulse. I don't need any of these lines. These lines are meant for when I do the streams or when I post analysis, so people understand when I say structure, what exactly is the structure? Well, this is a structure to me. Okay, I'm drawing it out for you guys, but I don't need the structure there for me to trade. I mean, these trend lines here for me to trade. Okay, so hope that is hope that answered that question. I'm a new trader learning a lot from this. Hey, good to hear that. Well, I mean, like I said, join my Telegram group. All my information stuff, everything I do is free. So just you're welcome to take a look at my videos. I do a lot of educational video on YouTube as well, and Telegram. I'll post all the links. So feel free to join that and feel free to ask me questions. Okay. So any other question, guys? And I will end the stream soon. And like I said, if you join me late, if you have some questions, just join my Telegram. I'll answer it when I see it. All right. And that's about it. So everything looks pretty good. So looking forward to this week and looking forward to this month as well. And lots of good opportunities. You just have to be a little bit more patient, right? You don't have to. There's a question earlier about how to deal with if there's calm period where there's no clear price action. The way how I deal with is just no trade. It's very simple. That's the easiest way that you can do to just uh, to save unnecessary losses. Can you give us your Telegram? Yeah, I have it in my beginning of the thing. I'll post it here again. All right. So the easiest thing is just stay out of the market. Don't enter trades. That's how you save capital. That's how you don't get into mediocre trades. And because you'll see this over and over, I hear this over and over from the market from a lot of new traders is that they have problem with being consistency. And I said, show me your journals, and some of them don't even have a journal. So I'm like, well, you don't journal your trades. How are you gonna know if you're in the winning or your losses? Or like, oh, I can look at my broker at the end of the month and I'll know how much I lost or win. I'm like, well, no, you have to keep track every single trade you do. You need to create a journal. You need to make sure you journal and write down every single trade so you can look back at it every week or every month to know the trades that you took. What is a good trade? What is a bad trade? How do you work on more trades? Uh, how do you classify if it's a good trade that gone bad or if it's a bad trade that you just force it? Right? That's how you get better as a trader. You don't just enter trades based on your feeling and you think you're always going to get good trades, and there's no improvement from you, right? You need to treat this as a business. Most new traders thinking this is just a game and they get in and they think they can deposit $100 and jump to 10,000, right? But those people's mindset usually lose 100 within the first week, right? That's how it works. So you need to treat this as an actual business, okay? Even if you don't know how a business works, Google it, right? Research what a business is, right? Business expense, business revenue, right? Overhead costs. How do you treat business losses over profit or profit over losses, right? You got to treat it like that so you can be a consistent trader in the market. Okay, you have to put in so much time and effort to make this work. It's not about buying someone's course, buying someone's lesson, you instantaneously become a good trader. I'm sure there's a small percentage of people who are smart, who can learn it that fast, but most of us don't, right? Myself included. It took me years to get to where I am, but I get to where I am by putting the years, right? It's not about putting into your first 3 months that you become a guru in trading. That's not how it works, guys. Sometimes when I say this to people, they don't want to acknowledge it, and I can't help it, right? I'm trying to pass on the most honest, transparent information so that people can grow as a better trader. But a lot of people, they want instant gratification. They want to jump to 0 to 100, and they often fail in between, right? And I want to be as sincere as possible to say this to people is that you need to put in the time and effort to be a better trader. It doesn't come overnight, just like a business doesn't success after a few years, doesn't instantaneously jump to profit year one, right? Business for the first 5-10 years, they're at a loss, right? But eventually they they adjust, they have less expense, they have more profit, and at the end, profit outweighs losses, and you have a net profit, right? That's how business works. It's exactly like trading. At the end of the month, how many trades in profit, how many trades losses? You want your profit outweigh your losses, and you will be at a profit, right? Very simple. It's the same idea here, okay? So that is it, guys. So I've been talking almost an hour and a half. So good stream. Nice. See some new faces here. So hopefully see you guys in my Telegram and the future streams as well. Okay. So no other questions. Very happy to see you guys beginning of the week. And I'm actually going to go watch the NBA final. I don't know if those of you who knows basketball, there's NBA final going on, literally in like 5 minutes, I think. So I'm gonna go watch that. Okay, that is my hobby to do. That is also my sport. That is my exercise. So I'm gonna go watch the basketball and then enjoy myself a little bit. Nothing I see that needs for me to enter, except maybe Kiwi Yan or Euro Cat, but I don't see them being ready until either the London session or New York session anyways. In the beginning of the market open, usually the price is a bit slower anyways. Okay, so think it would be a good game. Yeah, honestly, I'm a Laker fan by the way, so I do want Lakers to win by the way. So that's just me. So thanks, all the best to you. Yeah, you as well, guys. So yeah, so I hope to see everyone next time. I will do a daily market update, sometimes tomorrow or whenever. I'll post the links and the time in my Telegram. So hope to see you guys next time. All right. So thank you very much, and be safe out there, and hope everyone can earn some profit this week. All right. Thank you very much, guys.